So it's Friday. I have not filmed anything for this week yet. It has been an absolute chaos mess of a week. I want to talk about this. Rats. Welcome back. It's Friday. Red Rose Run, Philadelphia Marathon. Those are both happening this year, and I need to make graphics for that and get that out into the world ASAP, which I'm probably going to do here in a second. Just have a quick story. I haven't shot anything this week, so I'm just kind of catching everybody up on where I'm currently at. Right now, I have the team working on the final formulation or the estimated formulation so I can get some powder and start testing these sachets or the powder format over the next week or so. I'm doing some traveling at the end of next week for Common, so I want that for that. And the biggest thing I'm struggling with right now is how to ship this shit. I need to figure out the best way to ship cases of water to friends, to other run clubs, to other events to get the product in hand. The week got away from me completely. I had such big plans, but this week was a little bit off where just kind of shattered up in a couple different places, and I haven't had time to work on as many things as I want, as well as there's just things that are out of my control that I have to wait on other people for. And you can only follow up so many times until you're a pain in their ass. So that's where I'm kind of at right now, where I know that I need to get the final formulation figured out. And Jake is going to be working on that. And I should be able to test more of that on Monday and Tuesday of next week. But right now, there's nothing I can really do because I can't order the cans without the artwork. And if I don't have the final formulation, I can't get the final artwork. And I think what I just want to talk about right now is how it's okay to not have every single thing go green and to the right, meaning just being perfectly and positively imperfect. Some days you wake up and you feel like you're ready to take on the world. Some days you wake up and you're exhausted, you didn't sleep well, didn't get enough sleep, training was hard yesterday, training was hard today, whatever it is. Work's hard, life's hard, kids are hard, a million different things that kind of like play into this and throw you off a direct route, right? Because so many times we see things on the internet that are just super positive and super going so great for a certain person, and it's just this perfect sort of trajectory. But I often feel like it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, a little to the right, a little to the left, and it's like I know everybody's seen those sort of memes on social media where it's like what progress looks like, and it's just like it's not always just like a trajectory perfect to the right. And that has been this week to my core, where, I was laughing about it running the other day with Antonio and Cameron on Thursday, and we kind of just checking in with each other, and everybody's like, we're busy, we're all busy, we're doing a million different things, our sweat is in my eyeball. And I was just talking about, I'm like, I really just hope this vlogging series does not become a actual real-time recording of my mental breakdown. Just because there is a lot going on, and I'm putting a mass amount of pressure on myself, which is fine because that's, I think a lot of people do that on an everyday basis. But, you know, I am constantly showcasing real time what's going on. And so there really is absolutely no ability to guard what comes out of my mouth or guard what is said, because the failures and the successes are both coming in real time, and I'm just recording them. And so that puts me in a very vulnerable spot, because if I say something and it doesn't happen, that failure cannot be hidden from the internet. And a lot of people hide their failures from the internet, and it's only their best clips, and Instagram just looks like a fucking highlight reel. And I think that's the part where I look around a lot right now, and that's what I often see. And so I'm trying to do my best to allow myself the space in this sort of video documentary of building this, to realize that it's not always going to be green and to the right, and there's going to be failures, and there's going to be mess ups, and there's going to be shit that falls short, or shit that I dream of or hope for, or whatever it is, and it just falls apart, or it doesn't land where I want it to, or it misses, and that's okay, because that doesn't define the overall complete picture of this. Like, one single moment doesn't define months of work, or one single moment doesn't define every single aspect of the future, right? And for the last week or so, brainstorming more on branding and positioning, I'm struggling a lot on how to kind of start to differentiate Common, the parent company per se. You know, there's like an umbrella, and then there's Common, where there's this umbrella, then there's like Common Hydration, then there's the Thursday night activation, Common Grounds with running, and then there's like the events side that we do events. So there's like a business structure where it's called a branded house versus a house of brands. And so we are a branded house the same way Apple is a branded house, where there's Apple MacBook, Apple AirPods, all of, you know, it's Apple, and then everything else falls under different tiers and different buckets inside of that. And so Common is a branded house versus a house of brands. Something like, there's brands like Procter and Gamble or Coke. I mean, Coke owns Sprite per se. So like Coca-Cola, and there's a, you know, parent company that then owns other companies underneath of it that have their own brands. So Common is one brand, then has all of their brands that are also common themes. So it's like Common Events, Common Grounds, which is the running activation, you know, the hydration side. I'm not sure if I like Common Hydration. I still have to figure that out. Like, I just like Common for it to be the hydration side, but differentiating right now in this sort of the speak, I have to have it be hydration, so that people know, like, Common's parent company, hydration, events, Common Grounds with the running activation. And yeah, so this branded house is a decision marketing wise that I've made, and I'm trying to figure out now all of the slogans and taglines and sayings that is going to predict the way that Common Hydration shows up in the world moving forward. And one of the one-liners I really like recently, you know, are taglines that I think really presents well what Common, what it's supposed to be, is everyday hydration that performs. And the point of that is, a lot of hydration companies, whether it's electrolyte sticks, sachets, little drinks, whatever it may be, they fall in this lower sodium content. They're in this like 125, 150 milligrams of sodium content inside of their sachets or their powders or whatever they're doing. And then there are the LMNTs, which are landing, or Scratch Labs, which are much higher, closer to 1,000 milligrams of salt and sodium in each of their deliverables. And what I'm realizing is, personally, I want to fall in between the two categories, because there's a wide open everyday sort of market. And yeah, everyday to some people, most people probably mean 200 milligrams or on the lower end of the sodium side. But I feel like splitting it right down the middle at a 500 to 600 milligram of sodium leaves a lot of playing room, because there's only a couple players in that space, like liquid IVs and like 500, 600, something like that. But the differentiator that I'm more so working through right now is the fact that liquid IV, all these other brands have some sort of sugar,
even though they can put, like LMNT can put no sugar on their packet, but there's stevia leaf. So there's some sort of artificial sweetener in there that's hidden in there, and there's some sort of filler in there and some sort of product in there that they're putting in there that's really not performance based, and it's not going to make you better at anything. It's just going to be bullshit for your body to put in there. And so right now, I'm trying to finalize this formulation in a 500 to 600 milligram of sodium content. Obviously with, 30 to 40 milligrams of magnesium, there's gonna be potassium in there. And I'm trying to figure out a way to get it to taste good inside of not only a sachet and a powder format, so we can add that then to water or drinks, but then a canned drink as well. And that's where I'm at right now, where, everyday hydration. So everyday hydration is common for me. Like common and everyday are very similar, where it's common hydration that performs, but it can be said as everyday hydration. So the people understand that it's something that you can take every day. It's not just for people who are, the most elite athletes on the spectrum that are doing hours and hours of workout, as well as I realize that, 500 milligrams of sodium, 600 milligrams of sodium is probably the average. I have no data back this right now. I haven't done a sweat test on any of the people who come to Common or come to the Common grounds like Run Club activation. But if you're running 2 to 4 miles, that's more than an average person or an everyday person is probably doing. So you're going to need more sodium and salt to replace those electrolytes in your body than probably a person who is just waking up and going on and living their lives. So the 500 milligrams of sodium, 600 milligrams of sodium, in that range when I land there, I think that that's the perfect amount for anybody who comes to Run Club or does a couple miles of running, or is just a casual sort of fitness person that then allows people, if you want to drink 2 of them, you can then double down and do or double up a mixture. Then you can get closer to the LMNT, really extensive, long, hard, long run workouts and replenish that way. So everyday hydration that performs. So it has value. It has the ability to hydrate you the right way, but at the same time, it can be just consumed if you skip your workout that day. It can be consumed because it has items that you can drink that before bed. So that's what I'm doing right now is, I've decided it's a Brandon house. I'm breaking down this formulation so then I can get the cans ordered and make sure it tastes good and make sure we kind of get V1 out the door and rocking and rolling. I'm waiting on the city right now because the city has not confirmed our final sponsorship opportunity for Red Rose Run, which is stressing me out like crazy because I need to know, because I need to make moves. I'm going to Boston Marathon next weekend. Some other friends at other Run Club events are asking about the hydration brand and starting to get very interested in it. And everything's kind of happening at once, before normal work hours start and after normal work hours end. And like I said, with the balance, it's a lot to balance with family and everything else going on. So one step in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other every day, and realize that it's like, hey, some days you're going to wake up and just be set back and knocked back, and there's shit you can't control, and you just got to keep, focus on what you can control. So it's hot in here. Whew. Something I did not mention at all is the fact that summertime is upon us. And in summer, we like to do a lot more events. And I'm trying right now to make sure that I'm not just doing a ton of events just because we can do a ton of events, but I want to make sure that the events are thoughtful and meaningful. And I want to make sure that those events are special. And so right now I'm trying to figure out a couple new events for us to do this summer, as well as then to figure out a couple events that we've done before, work them into our schedule to make sure that we're getting a slam-packed summer full of stuff going on, because I think that's important. Like, people want to be outside in the summer, people want to have fun experiences, and that's what Common wants to do. Like, we want to bring community together, we want to bring people together, we want to provide experiences, we want to put these events on for people. And the for-profit for people brand mentality, like when people are like, what is Common? I continue saying this, I'm like, it's a for-profit for people brand. It's a company that's trying to make money. The people that support the brand put money into the brand, and then it comes back to them. So this new hydration brand The goal is for then enough people to be buying it, putting it in their fridges at home and using it for their workouts, that when they come to Common, there's coolers of it there. And then people can try it for the first time. And then they're kind of like voting with their dollar for water, right? They're voting with their dollar so that another person will get the opportunity to try that exact same product. It's probably dark. Get to this next part. Yeah, so the idea is very simple, that we want people to vote with their dollar. So when they're putting Common hydration, Common electrolytes in their body, in their mouth, in their fridge, that they're then putting money back into the brand that they support. That brand then supports the community by having activations, and more importantly then having that drink there for other people to try at the run club. Like, my goal is to have then 6 coolers of Common hydration all over the place. So when people come, not just water and coolers, but there's an electrolyte like beverage there that's for people by people. That's the idea. I don't know if there's any other businesses that kind of operate that way, if that's a successful idea, but we're just gonna rock with it. But Saturday morning, my daughter has a softball game, busy day with the kids. My wife's getting her hair done, so I have the kids most of the day. And I'm gonna turn this off for a little bit and compartmentalize and focus on that before I fly to Atlanta for half of the next week and fly back for Run Club. So busy and crazy as always, man. Keep going.
Interesting. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff is just not pretty. It's coming up with an idea, shooting bullet holes in that idea, second guessing that idea, sleeping on it for a week, coming back to it again, realizing you sounded like an idiot, or maybe it was the right thing in the first place, and then moving forward with it. But currently, right now, I'm kind of struggling with the structure, as I mentioned yesterday, which Common is a parent company, and then there's different sort of buckets and the hydration part. And I really just don't like calling it Common hydration. Like, I don't like that. Like, I just want it to be common, because common is a mentality, and now that mentality is in a can. And I'm struggling with figuring out how to kind of like break down or introduce things where all of our social media and all of our website is already on commonrunning.com. And I don't want to change that, because I feel like that's still the main focus. Like, that's the place where people gather. That's the place where people connect. That's the power of the people mentality. And I was just kind of like reading some notes, basically, where it kind of says, where is it? Common, a way of showing up. So you should not change and just have the sort of like back end word that then describes what you're doing. Like, it doesn't have to be common, then hydration. Like, yes, it is going to be hydration, but you can then just basically explain what it is. Common carbonated electrolyte water. That will then explain what the product is, still keeping it just be one word name, because I don't want to change it to be like common clothing, common slag, common electrolyte water. That sounds stupid. It sounds so dumb. It sounds so tchotchke and cheapens the brand in every sort of way. And I just always want everything to be common, just because it's one word and it's strong. It stands for something. It has grit, and there's texture, and there's meaning, and there's people involved in it. Yeah, so a lot of this week has just been back and forth, second guessing things regarding structure, while the formulation is being finished, and while I'm patiently waiting for then the next step, because you cannot jump ahead 3 or 4 other steps without certain steps in place. Ah, man. Everything is so multifaceted too, just because while hydration is being worked on, I'm simultaneously working on upcoming events, hosts, meeting with Lululemon or Ryan at Inside Track and talking about different ideas and starting to even plan out as far as 2027 already, which is my goal, where I don't want anything to be like last minute, and I don't want anything just to pop up out of the blue and be thoughtless. I want everything to be thoughtful and intentional and very curated for the people that are taking part, because I think that that's what matters. I think experience matters. And I think experience and having a positive experience is what people coming back to comment. Where even when you're watching something on the outside, whether it's the last one standing race, ultra, whether you're watching the Common Grounds activation on Thursdays, whether you're watching on the internet the recap of a coffee and clubbing hangout or whatever it is, the point is people come, they experience something they never have before, they feel something while they're there, an energy, however you want to describe that, and that's what keeps them coming back. And so I want to focus all of my time, energy, and effort into that, because experiences and creating those and curating those experiences are what make common. I joked yesterday with Savannah, I was like, I really hope that this vlog does not become my mental breakdown. Because I feel like I'm starting to just talk through things on camera. Literally just talk through things as I'm processing things on camera, which is embarrassing and makes me feel stupid, where I just want to delete 90% of this and then redo it and focus it into a 30-second or 1-minute clip so people can understand and just see and move on. But at the same time, there's nothing clean about this. There's nothing easy about this. There's nothing clear about this. There's no clear answer at the end of this. And I'm just doing my best to work through it every single day, because that's all you can really do, you know, especially when it's not your full-time thing, or you don't have a team of 50 different people, and, you know, there's not 30 different people working on this. I have a couple soundboards that I talk to and vent to or complain about me not being able to figure it the fuck out, but at the end of the day, I realized that, like, I posted this the other night, no one is coming to save you. You know, the minute you take your hand off the steering wheel of something you give a shit about, it's gonna fail. No one's gonna come in and just pick up the pieces, grab the steering wheel, and drive it for you. You have to put in the time, the work, the energy, the effort, the sacrifice, the money, whatever the hell it is, in order to bring it to life. And I'm willing to do that. Because of the messages, the hundreds of messages, the thank yous, the emotions you feel when you hug or high five people that you didn't know a year ago. You do hard things with these people, you see them do hard things. You give them the opportunity to do fucking crazy things. That's what it's all about. Kids are getting up. Little by little, step by step, one foot in front of the other. That's all you can do. I only wanna talk to you.
So the Maine has always been a band that has just been around. Since years ago when my band was around. The Maine was one of those hype bands that was a part of the Warped Tour scene and part of that, like, pop rock. They were a part of the glamour kills, neon kind of era. And they've transitioned out of that, and 10 plus, 15 plus years later, they continue to evolve and adapt in such awesome ways. And this record specifically is something that's always stood out to me. There's songs on here that I'm a lyrics guy. Lyrics are so important to me, and they make or break songs, right? There has to be some kind of attachment and meaning, and they have a couple of tracks on this record that really have hit home for years. So, thanks for watching.